Welcome, guys, back to the Talkaholics podcast.
Hello,
I'm Razia.
I'm Iman.
And today, a lot's been happening with the last few weeks. Like, a lot of good stuff for TV and movies.
Yes.
If you're a Game of Thrones fan, major things are happening for you right now.
Yeah.
It's final season of that whole franchise. So, a lot of stuff about that. I don't think you watch it.
No, we don't watch it.
We're going to let you down from the beginning. We're not reviewing that.
You know, I heard that there's, the director, released a list of 12 episodes that you can watch from the entire 7 seasons before.
Oh, okay.
So that you could watch this season on time.
Nice.
So you wouldn't be, lost.
Yeah.
But still, 12, that's still a lot. I'm not...
Yeah, that's they're like an hour each, so
Yeah.
that's crazy.
Yeah.
Well, that's nice that that's done. Because I honestly tried watching the first few episodes, and I was like, this is slow. And I'm not, a huge, fantasy medieval fan.
Yeah. I liked it, but it was you need to put a lot of work.
Yeah.
And I watched the first season, and I was like, yeah, I'll watch second season, and then I just never got around to it, and it's been a year.
Yeah.
So
I know, and I feel like Handmaids is you can just get through.
Yeah.
Handmaids. But besides TV, I think one of the greatest movie franchises has kind of come to a conclusion, or at least the first phase of it. Avengers, guys. I'm sure I don't even have to tell you about what Endgame was about. The hype around it. I think it has already surpassed Titanic in terms of the box office record.
Oh.
Which is pretty cool. Not surprised there, though, too. I mean, I was thinking about this the other day. It took 22 movies plus Endgame to beat Titanic, whereas Titanic was just a solo movie about two people.
Yeah.
So funny. Well, that's crazy. And yeah, I wanted to review it really badly. I probably watched it 3 or 4 days after it premiered. I was psyched ever since the last movie before Infinity War and the Thanos finger snap. I was like, oh shit, how does this all come together again?
It was so funny because, for people who listen to the podcast and for people who know me personally, they know I'm not a big Marvel fan. Yeah, so I'm sure you're thinking, Iman didn't even watch the movie. Little do you know what had happened was...
She did her homework.
Yes. So it was so funny because Razia messaged me and she was like, okay, we're gonna review this, right? And I'm like, oh, I'm probably not gonna watch it, but I'll listen to you talk about it.
Yeah.
And then literally I don't know, maybe 30 minutes later or something, I was like, never mind, I'm actually gonna go see it.
Oh my God.
And it was because my friend, that weekend, it was her birthday, coming up, but her birthday was, the first day of Ramadan.
Mm.
So we celebrated it the weekend before, and she was like, let's go see Endgame, and I was like, oh, okay.
You're like, I guess it's
I was like, sure, it's your birthday. And we saw it in VIP in Pickering.
Oh, okay.
And it was nice, but I don't know why we didn't think this through, because it was maybe a week after it released.
Right.
So I guess we thought the hype would be over.
Yeah.
We were wrong.
No.
So we decided to buy our tickets the day of.
Yeah.
And we literally sat in the first row in front of
Oh my God.
in front of the screen. And we were like, should we do it? And I was like, you know what? It reclines and everything.
I was going to say, isn't it a little better?
Yeah.
Okay.
So we were fine, actually.
Okay,
I just fully reclined and then just it was really close, but whatever.
Your neck was probably a little...
I was fine.
Oh,
it was just everything was really close, so it just looked really big. But yeah, it was just, and how I prepared for this, because I didn't watch Infinity War.
Yeah.
So I was like, oh shoot, I need to, because my friend was like, you need to watch Infinity War before you watch this movie, and I was like, do I really? She's like, yes.
Yeah, you do.
And I was like, God. So I didn't have time to watch it, so it was literally the night before.
Binge? Yeah.
Yes, I had to go to my aunt's place, so I didn't come home till midnight.
Yeah.
After midnight, and I was like, shoot, I still have to watch this movie. So I went on Netflix, and it's a 2.5 movie.
Yeah.
And I watched the entire thing.
Good for you,
and I finished at 2:30 in the morning, and I was like, I get it. I was like, this is why everybody loves these movies. I was like, this was great.
Oh my God.
And then I didn't understand half the things that were going on though, because I didn't know. I haven't seen any Iron Man movies. I haven't seen nothing. So all these people being introduced to me, I was like, cool, whatever. I haven't seen any of the movies. The only movies I've seen, Black Panther, Captain Marvel.
Okay.
That's it.
Oh my God.
I think.
Oh my God.
Yeah, I think that's
Guardians?
No, I haven't seen Guardians of the Galaxy. I haven't seen Thor. I haven't seen Iron Man. I haven't seen Captain America. Nope, I have not seen them. Yeah. So
holy moly, you were basically going in there like as fresh as you possibly could.
Yeah. But I was like, this was such a good movie, like Infinity War. I was like, this was great, and I shed a tear when Spider-Man like went into dust. I haven't seen Spider-Man either. That's
oh my god,
that particular Spider-Man.
Okay.
Like I've seen other Spider-Man,
yes, right.
but I haven't seen his Spider-Man.
Okay.
When he was like going into this, he's like, I don't want to go. I was like, no, I don't want you to go.
He's the baby of the Avengers.
Oh, I was so sad. So yeah, that's how I prepared. I binge watched. I watched the Infinity War before, and then we saw Avengers the Endgame the next day. Yeah. And it was good because I remembered everything because it was literally the night before. Yeah. So it was like yes, like it literally stopped. Like it started where it stopped. So I was like, this is great. I know what's going on, kind of. Yeah.
Amazing.
But yeah, so let's see. Yeah, what did you think about that?
Okay, I think we'll do like. So I guess for the first bit we'll do like not spoilery.
Yeah, like but, you guys, whenever we review a movie, guys, like this episode is gonna be coming out like 2-3 weeks after the movie has come out. Like you should have seen it. Yeah, if you're a diehard fan, you should have saw it. So there's gonna be spoilers. These are our thoughts. So just be prepared. And if you want to listen to this episode, go watch the movie first, and then listen to the episode.
You know what? I don't know why I'm just having so much pity. I'm just going straight into spoilers.
No pity. What are you talking
about? Okay, so I mean, I was excited for this for a long time. I didn't also watch every single of the 22 movies over the 10 decades. Mm-hmm. I'll say that up front, but I was following the franchise enough to continue to keep up with the stories and. For any of the movies that I didn't watch, I knew what had happened. Yeah. So I was ready for Endgame, but by the time it came out, like I'd prepped just like you, but I'd watched because I remember Infinity War enough. I watched the first Iron Man because that's what started off the franchise. So I was like, I'd like to see beginning and end. Yeah. And to compare those two things, because the thing with Avengers and that whole storyline, they really call back to each other a lot. So I was like, it makes sense. But I want to start with the first one. And then I watched Captain Marvel at home, too, because I didn't get the chance to watch it in theaters. Yeah. So I did my homework, too, right before this to be like, okay, I gotta be fully prepared for this. Overall, I was happy. Like, the entire thing was such an emotional roller coaster. Yeah. Like, you're, like, laughing and happy at some parts, and some parts you're like, I'm way too tense. I'm literally sitting at the edge of my seat. Or I'm like crying, just like with like the Spider-Man parts.
Oh yeah, I shed a tear here.
Yeah, I know. We'll get to that. We'll get to that specific part. But like I was just happy. Like it's one of those movies where it doesn't take itself too seriously. It's about superheroes. So you go in there like just wanting to have a fun time, and you're not like necessarily breaking down anything when you go in there. It's just about seeing how these bunch of heroes work out. Beating Thanos essentially. So I was just excited. I was like a ball of energy the entire time. I definitely have I had high expectations for this, so I definitely had like my likes and my dislikes, but no part of this movie was I like that they ruined it by any means. Again, I went into it wanting it to be perfect. Like it had to be the greatest conclusion to everybody's story. So I mean, overall nothing like that happened. I was like that completely ruins it for me. I'm so like no. There was enough like fan service to every single character, and like they talked. I don't know how they do this. I don't know how they spend even with 3 hours that they give enough time to every single person and like give them 2 seconds of a moment to go. Okay, they're happy, or okay, that's how their story ends. Like that made me really really happy. They did a great job. I think at the end of it, the deaths that happened and like the closures for each character I thought were appropriate, except for a few. But we can get into it. I think. Just address, like, the biggest spoiler, the main thing that kind of solves the entire issue is Iron Man's death. And I thought,
that was the saddest.
Yeah, I thought that was appropriate, but also, like, when that moment happens, Iman, you know how quiet it gets? Like, there's no music. There's no music.
It's so silent. And Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Spider-Man always makes me cry.
He's pretty good about, like, just the little moments of, like, he'll say, like, one line or have one facial expression, and then, like, you're like, oh.
That was the point where I was like, there was sometimes where I was, like, getting teary-eyed, but I was like, whatever. But that point when Spider-Man was like, please, no, and I was like, no.
Yeah, I was like, forget about Pepper Potts. I care about freaking Spider-Man and him.
It was 3D, right? So I was waiting for 3D glasses, and I just felt one tear trickle down my
You're like, it's okay, no one can see me.
I was like, no one can see me. I was like, am I going to try to wipe it away, because then people will know I'm crying.
You know what it was for me? Like, because it was so quiet and like I
try not to sniffle.
Yeah, it was that, and because I watched it like 3 days after the premiere, so everyone was still kind of watching it fresh, and everyone was reacting. Like every single moment, a new character would come in, people clapping, people laughing in the back. So when that moment happened, I swear to God, I could hear sniffles in the back.
Yeah,
I'm not even kidding. I was like, I went with Mesa, and I was like, did you hear this? It's so weird. Like I could. Like it was good. It was a strong like 1 minute of like just me hearing other people like awkwardly shifting, going just a little bit, and I was like, "What's happening?" I'm also crying. I'm like, "This is just weird." It's just like
we're all collectively.
It's like a theater packed of just people like dealing with this death, like we're mourning. But it was
sad.
It was really sad, but appropriate, and like, and I think I was watching another podcast that talked about it too. Like, characters matter in a story, like whether it's a book or a movie. When they die at the very end and you care about it, because that means that character was strong. Like, they meant something.
That's true.
And
he was an essential part of
he was huge.
Everything that went down.
And the second he put that glove on and the stones were in his Iron Man.
I was like, that's it.
Yeah,
I was like, they're not gonna save him.
Yeah, but it also made sense. I was like that. Oh, yeah, that is how it should end.
Yeah.
Like, because, again, like, watching the first movie, he starts off as that guy who really isn't a hero. Like, he is, like, an owner of a weapons industry, essentially. So he used to build weapons to give the U.S. military to go invade other places.
Oh, I didn't know that.
And then he, like, turned himself on his head and went, no, like, we need to start helping people. So, and then he becomes like the actual hero at the very end of it. So it's like the coolest story arc for him, from beginning to end. You would like the first Iron Man a lot, actually.
Yeah, I like him. I liked his character, so I feel like I would have liked the movies too. I don't know. I never watched them.
Yeah. And Robert Downey Jr. I mean, he was a heart, I think, of like all the movies because he just fit Iron Man, like that charismatic playboy guy who actually has a heart.
Yeah, I mean, I heard that they killed him off because he doesn't want to play Iron Man anymore.
No, so a bunch of the cast, their contracts did end. So, Captain America was like the most well-known one. Like, people were watching this movie to see how his story ended.
A lot of people weren't happy with his
ending.
His ending.
In what sense? What did you hear?
I feel like was it Captain America? Yeah, it was Captain America. I'm trying to remember who it was, but I saw it on Twitter. Like, they didn't do his character development justice or something like that.
Right.
I didn't get it because I didn't watch all the other movies.
Yeah.
But I was like, I don't know why. I didn't understand why people were upset. Like, my friend was upset that he got to hold the hammer.
Right. A lot of people. That's what people were upset
My friend
about.
was like,
people
why?
were very torn.
Yeah.
Because, so that moment was like a callback to a previous Avengers where there's like a comedic moment where like all the cast of the Avengers, like the initial ones, were trying to pick up Thor's hammer. It was just like one of those secret games that they were playing. And none of them can do it. And Thor's like, haha, whatever. He's like full of pride. And he's like, none of you are worthy of this hammer. And then Captain America goes and he like nudges it a little bit. He's the first one to kind of make it move.
Yeah.
And Thor, you can see his ego drop in his face, just like, oh my god. So it's a callback to that because then he actually carries it, and then you hear Thor going, "I knew you could do it." You know?
Yeah.
So a lot of people were cheering in the theater. I'm not a huge fan of Captain America. Like, I don't hate him like as much as I used to in the beginning. I came to like him because of like Chris Evans plays him well, plays him likable. But I wasn't crazy happy to. But that has to do with the fact that how they played Thor too in this movie. They made him such a.
I think people are upset with Thor too. Like, he's like this huge invincible character, and then like he becomes this like fat drunk.
Yeah,
like,
he's just a joke of the movie.
Yeah,
he really is a joke of the movie, and I think it's such a contrast to you watched Infinity War.
Yeah, exactly.
He is the hero.
Yeah.
He's the one who like really comes to know himself, and he's like, wait, I can be powerful without a weapon or whatever.
Yeah.
Like, he's the one who does most of the work in the Infinity War, and then for him to go back to like being a bum, and I don't know. So yeah, I think those two things are related in that. Like, again, I don't care so much for Captain America, so him holding the hammer, I was like, well, I guess it makes for a cool cinematic moment, like especially that battle piece.
Yeah,
is really
exactly.
really cool. But at the same time, like, I didn't like Thor's kind of whole. He was like the comedic relief throughout. But I was waiting for him to kind of go back and go...
To, like, snap back into his...
Yeah, just send me whatever, I'm the coolest Avenger. Like, and kind of...
It didn't happen.
It didn't really, really happen.
And a lot of people also complained that Captain Marvel was too invincible.
I
like she kind of was just unfazed the entire time.
Yes. Okay. Here's my thing. I don't know where to go.
I'm sorry.
Yeah. Okay. Let's just Captain Marvel. I watched the movie. I knew about this character before this movie was even like made or Brie Larson was even cast.
Yeah.
I really like this character. She's supposed to be like the strongest.
All of them. Like you could see that.
Yeah. Which is why like Infinity War ends and she's called in because like she's the only one who can help them.
Mm-hmm.
In Endgame, I feel like her role was like so insignificant. Like the build up to her being called and being there, you're like, oh, okay, she's gonna be the biggest part of like.
Yeah, but then she kind of just disappears and then shows up.
She shows up with a new hairdo, and then you're like, okay, cool, honey. Like, and then you tell us that but other planets need saving too. You know, don't be so like egocentric, Earth. And then she goes, and then I'm like, what the heck? Like she did nothing in this final movie.
She really did nothing.
and there's moments again, that they do comment on how like OP she is. Like she's super invincible when she goes through that ship and like destroys the shit out of it. And then she's fighting Thanos for like 2 seconds. He punches her and then it does nothing. It doesn't phase her at all. I was like, why isn't she fighting? For the most of it. Then. Like,
it's just it was weird. I feel like at that point it's like they're trying to fit in as many characters as possible into the movie. And it just like I just felt like it was just sometimes unnecessary.
She was just someone mentioned this. She was just like the transporter of the movie because it was only because of her they were able to go back and find Thanos in the very beginning of the movie. So she's just like a teleporter. She's like a glorified elevator for them to go to one place to another.
I don't know. It was kind of upsetting because she's like a really cool character.
Yeah, no, exactly. And I had problems too when like Brie Larson was cast because I really wanted Charlize Theron for this.
Oh, she would have been cool.
She would have been because that's like it would have been like more badass. I know that she probably picked Brie Larson because she's younger, and two because like she gives more of a like a girl next door kind of vibe. Do you know what I'm saying? She's more grounded down to earth.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Like I was like really frustrated with that moment because again like I couldn't be. I don't know how you can be a super fan of Captain Marvel because I thought her movie was like just her story's really cool, but the character herself, like I was just like there's nothing personally different about her compared to all the other female superheroes in this, which have their own like arcs and story.
Yeah.
But speaking of female superheroes, another one of my I don't want to like run too much into the dislikes, but my biggest gripe with the movie was actually Black Widow's like
her death.
Her death, yeah.
It felt really insignificant. I don't know if it's because I haven't watched like previous films.
No, I felt that way too.
I just felt like, oh, cool, like you're gonna die. Bye. Exactly. Like I didn't feel any emotion. I didn't feel any connection.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't know. It just felt like whatever she had to do, what she got to do. Like that's it.
I know, and I honestly walked away from that movie going, this was really good. Besides that, like it was my biggest. Like frustration, and not because like I'm not a huge super fan of Black Widow either, but I think like what they gave Iron Man in that like heroic death and gave him like that nice moment to say like this is how important of a superhero he is. They never gave Black Widow because she like I was waiting for them to give her a moment to acknowledge she was the first female Avenger, part of the original group.
That's true.
Like where's that moment, right?
Yeah.
Because Avengers likes to harp on them being like also being super feminist, and they had like that female moment in the final battle.
Yeah,
too,
that was awesome.
Which is cool.
That was
great.
Cool to
see everybody there. And I was like, but really, who should be at the front of that, right? Like the first to get like Black Widow. So
yeah, I wonder why. Like I guess like in the moment it made sense because like between her and Hawkeye, like he had a whole damn family, and she had no one,
which is exactly what they did.
You know, and there was that cool like that kind of like tug between them where it was like, no, I'm gonna die, no, I'm gonna die, no, I'm gonna die, and then like she goes dies,
which is cool because they like fought, I don't know, it's cool because they fought about it, but at the same time I was like, I was waiting like even she's had like romantic ties too in the previous movies with Captain America and then later Hulk. So I was like...
Yeah, I found that with Hulk, yeah. I didn't get it because I didn't see the movie again. But I was like, I see something there.
But again, they like don't really go into it. So like when they reunite after like how long?
Yeah, it's just like Bruce.
Yeah.
That's
like
right?
Natasha.
Yeah.
Bruce and Natasha.
Yeah.
And I was like,
is that it?
It was just please, like just conclude that story somehow. Like either they're not together or they're cool being friends.
Yeah.
Or, you know. Like, I don't know, I just felt like it wasn't satisfying enough for me I was waiting for her to have like really good dialogue moments because like if you've watched her in previous movies too, her role in the Avengers is like the moral grounding. Like she's the one who like when the Avengers are fighting with each other, she's like the one to console. Because she's like the best friend of everybody essentially. So like almost a mother figure, which is his own thing. But so I was like even in the dialogue moments of when she first talks to Captain America at that table, I was like that's not. It wasn't a really cool moment for me. It wasn't like emotionally strong. Yeah, she's crying, but she also like serves this line of like, I'm gonna throw this PB&J sandwich in your face. Like it was just such throwaway lines that I was like, what? That doesn't sound like her. And then again when she meets Hulk, I was like waiting for her to like have a moment, just one line to say like, listen, I was like the only female one in this, and I was one without superhero powers, but I made it through with you guys to the very end, right? Something like that.
Even like when they find out she died, it was like.
Yeah, it was just like her on the floor, and I was
and then and then like Hawkeye comes back, and they're like, "Where's?"
I'm mad.
And then after that, they're like, and then that's it. It's like they all like kind of be quiet, look down for a little bit, and then they just go move on. And I'm like, what's going on?
Yeah, it was like
it just I get what you mean.
And again with her, I get like her story arc in that final movie. She changed her hair. Oh, cool. Like you know what I'm saying? So yeah, and I know she's having like a solo movie. Like, there's most people.
I heard about that.
Most people's like comment to like make people like me who feel about like unsatisfied by her death. It's like, oh, but she has a solo movie, but it feels like such an afterthought. Like you just put it at the end. After like the major stuff has already happened. But whatever, that's its own thing. But otherwise, like this movie, I don't know for you, but the build up of like. Right after they get past that slow beginning part, which I felt like was 20 minutes of like just talking, just feeling sad for each other. And then as soon as they like decide, okay, time travel, let's do that. That build up was amazing. Like how they just like kept going from one idea to the other, and like they all sort of slowly assembling, and then they go do the time heist. I was like, this is like it was amazingly paced. Like they hit the right points. Like the parts where they go back into the old movies and they show the old shots.
Yeah, that was
which
cool.
I was like, you had to reshoot everything then somehow. Do you know what I'm saying? Like,
or you had to like,
or they shot it initially, which I don't think so.
No, or it's either they used the old clips. Yeah. But somehow like digitally, weaved it together.
I think so too. Yeah. Which I was like, again, like complete fan service. I was so happy to see like them go back into time, but also not explain where they ended up. Like this movie's really good about assuming, okay, the audience knows exactly where we're at time wise. We're not gonna explain what's happening at this moment. They just go right into it. I love that. I love when like movies don't try to like baby you and try to tell you, okay, this is why this is important that we're here. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So like when they go back to the first Avengers and all the other old movies, like Thor goes to see his mom, like it's so impactful if you're a person who's seen those moments happen and then see the old version, like how much they've grown back. Right, like the biggest moment of that is when Captain America is fighting his old self, and like how you know what I'm saying? It's like almost a perfect moment to show growth because like he outsmarted him right at the end, and like the ass joke was pretty funny.
That was funny.
Like, it is, which is really cute. And again, it's hard to like deal with time travel in a movie without it seeming.
The time travel thing was a little confusing, I think. Like the way they tried to explain it. Was a little confusing. And, like, when they said it, it made sense, but then when I tried to explain it to my friend again, I was like, wait.
Like, I can't.
I was like, wait. Because she was like, wait, why didn't they just do this and this and this? I was like, because, like, because she was trying to think of, like, how do we think of this? Like, if someone from the past, if you went into the past and you talked to someone from your past, doesn't that change everything? And I was like, wait, but they said that if you go into your past, that is now your future. Yeah. So it's like a different.
Yeah, exactly. I think anytime you put in time travel to any story, it becomes like messy. Yeah. But I think they did a pretty decent job of explaining like the conversations with Hulk and the Doctor Strange character, the bald lady. Yeah. I think that's where they tried to explain
the most. Like I was trying to tell my friend, I was like, yeah, but remember how he said like that. This strand still exists, but you just kind of go off into a separate strand, and this happens at the same time. It's a different reality, stuff like that.
I think the way they tried to compromise it, say, so long as the stones come back together, like that's one straight best future for us will remain. Yeah. But so they kind of like when Captain America at the end goes to put all the stones back, so that's when all those strands go away and fade away. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Those alternative like universes. So I think it's like an easy cleanup way to say, like, we fixed it. But at the same time, yeah, every time that they would speak to someone in the past, I'm like, oh, but they know now. Do you know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah.
that does change the past.
Yeah, that's what you would think.
Or like when Loki disappears with the Tesseract, like that
yeah.
thing. I was like, that's the worst like future ever.
Yeah.
Like, he's like the main villain, right? Of the first Avengers. So I was like those moments, yeah, kind of get you questioning. But I think because there's so much happening in this movie, they do a pretty good job of trying to go, shh, don't think about that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, it's fine. It's a movie. Like,
yeah.
They do a pretty good job about not trying too hard to explain it, but giving you enough to be like, okay,
yeah,
that's the logic of this, movie, and this is how they're dealing with it. So yeah, I think I was so distracted by how well they were pacing, like them going back in time, and then Thanos figuring out, like old Thanos figuring out that he already got the stones.
Yeah,
they're going back in time. Like,
I was like, God damn it.
Yeah, exactly, right. And then like, it just how complex it got, but still you're able to keep up with it. I loved like how intense it was getting so fast as soon as the time heist started. And I liked how Nebula, who again, like if you watch any of the previous movies, like not like a super main pivotal character, but somehow she becomes like
a big part of it.
The core to this, which again, really cool how Avengers can take like side characters and make you care about them.
Yeah.
So like the second her eyepiece thing shows everything that's happening,
I was like, no.
You're like, oh shit.
Yeah.
Like, this is fucked up. And like the gold piece she takes.
Yeah, that was smart because they didn't even notice it. Like I didn't notice it at first, and then when she did that, I was like, oh.
Yeah. And then she had the vials. I was like shitting myself. Then I was like, she's gonna go to the future, guys. This is a problem. Like the stuff like that. I was really happy that they kind of kept it interesting.
Yeah.
Because I think my thing from watching Infinity War, the stakes were so high in that movie. That entire movie was so fast paced. I was like, how are they gonna keep up with Endgame and make Thanos still seem scary? Make it still seem like a lot's at stake when at the end of Infinity War everyone disappears.
Yeah, exactly. And then the big thing right at the beginning of Endgame is that like Thor cuts Thanos' head off. You're like,
yeah.
Like, huh?
Yeah.
So, like, was that easy?
Yeah, like, and then he destroyed the
yeah.
Like,
what are we gonna do now? You know? And it's like, I actually really like Thanos' character.
Yeah.
Like, even though he's, like, a villain and stuff, I'm just like, I like him.
There's something, honestly, the way Josh Brolin plays him, I don't know what it is. Even in the last, like, Infinity War, the very few lines he has to, like, explain his like perception of the world.
Yeah.
Like you're just enthralled. Like you're just like, oh, he's so
like
interesting, but just evil. But
like he truly believes that he's doing something good.
Yeah. Which I honestly like. Again, like one of the things I wrote down to talk about with this, I was like, somehow still in the last movie, you're still scared somehow of Thanos. You're still like intimidated by him.
Yeah.
Because of like how committed he is to his.
Yeah. Like no matter what, he'll do whatever it takes.
Yeah, he's almost like prophetic about it. He's like, but this is the destiny that I was supposed to fulfill.
Mm-hmm.
And like even in the fight where he's fighting like Iron Man, Captain America, Thor, and he's keeping up without the glove, you're just like,
I was like, how is he so powerful?
Yeah, you're just like, holy
he's just like boom, 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 and they're all like
beating him to the ground face first. I was like, what is happening? Like honestly, like easily the best villain. In the entire franchise, somehow Josh Brolin with all that CG on his face, that terrible weird chin thing, he still manages to be like really, really, really interesting.
Yeah. Speaking of gore. What did I just say?
Thanos?
I was speaking of Thanos. I felt bad when he killed Gamora.
Yeah.
Like, and it was sad. Like in
Infinity War.
Infinity War, when he was like. When she was like, yeah, you don't love me. And he was like, but I do. And then he, like, kills her. I was like...
Yeah, and doesn't he shed a tear, too?
Yeah, he cares, like, but it's still not enough to stop whatever he wants to do. Yeah. And it just made me sad because, like, the way she died, like, that means she's not coming back. Like, so even though there's people from the past that came back, like...
Yeah.
She was one of them that didn't get to come back. And they show that in the movie at the end, like, when he's trying to find her.
Yeah.
Because, like, the past Gamora comes back, but, like, once...
Yeah.
They snap their finger, like when Iron Man snaps his finger, everybody goes away from the past.
Right.
So it's like, I don't know, like, why, like, what they were trying to do, because it's kind of like an open, like, you think they would tie up all loose ends at the end of this movie, but that's kind of like an open.
There are a few open doors by the end of it that you're like, okay. But, yeah, so I think, do we want to talk a little bit about, like, the the cool Easter eggs within this movie. Sure. Okay, so I'll touch upon like that for a second. There's enough like open doors that they give at the very end of this movie on purpose, because I know that they're gonna set up another 22 movies and a phase 2 of this entire franchise again, because I mean that's what Disney and Marvel are gonna do. They're gonna make profit off of something that worked the first time.
Of course.
And they have enough characters to work with. So I like notice every time that they left anything untied, like for example the Gamora thing, or like when Thor joins the Guardians to go off, that becomes their own storyline.
Yeah, exactly.
There's so many paths that they do on purpose so that when they do come back and start writing for the next 20 plus movies, that they're like, okay, we didn't commit to anything here, but we can, make it make sense because we gave ourselves opportunity.
Yeah, exactly.
So, plus, I think what people are maybe forgetting is that the end of Avengers was almost perfectly lined up with the announcement of Disney Plus, right? Did you hear about Disney Plus?
No.
Oh, okay. So it's like a Netflix service that Disney's doing to put their content onto one streaming service. So any Disney movie, any Marvel is also owned by them. So any Marvel movie, any of their shows, like they're taking all off Netflix and doing their own streaming service. Star Wars is all under Disney too.
That's smart.
Yeah, and huge, right? Think about how much content that is and how much business Netflix is not going to get.
They're going to,
right? Again, Disney Plus is also catered to kids, so any parent who wants to like distract their
little one
has a service. So, they announced that almost back like pretty close to each other time wise, and I know why, because after Avengers, it was announced that 5 or 6 miniseries are going to be announced with all the characters that are kind of insignificant or kind of went off on their own paths at the end of the movie. So, for example, there's going to be a Guardians of the Galaxy plus Thor show called As Guardians of the Galaxy, because that's where he's from.
Yeah.
And it's going to be their adventure. And then there's going to be another movie just about Loki with him and that Tesseract, what happens in his family. Yeah. So, do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
They're lining everything up perfectly so that now if you miss any of those characters, you have a streaming service.
That's smart.
It's all marketing. Come on. At the end of this, it's not fully any of the loose ends that weren't tied or things.
It's on purpose for sure.
It's all like they're thinking about content they can make in the future. Like the only reason why Black Widow died, Iron Man died, Captain America had a full like ending. He's an old man now, and nothing's gonna happen with him.
Yeah, exactly.
Is because those contracts ended and they wouldn't know we wanna.
They don't want to go back to that. Yeah.
We're done making money off of this thing, right? So, yeah, they're like I thought it was funny, but like, also kind of genius about like anybody else who wants more content to swallow up. Here's Disney Plus, perfect streaming service, and then they're gonna keep lining it up like that. So
that's interesting.
I mean, good job, Disney.
Yeah, for sure. Like they're gonna definitely keep making money.
Oh my god, off of this whole thing, and like just with all these movies now being taken off Netflix and onto Disney Plus, they're gonna be making a shit ton of money really fast.
Yeah, another person who's dead is Vision.
Yeah, which made me think.
You're wearing the shirt. I mean, I don't know much about Vision because again, like I haven't watched anything else. But yeah, it was sad. Yeah. It definitely was sad.
I kind of knew coming into Endgame he wasn't gonna show up. Like he kind of, as soon as Infinity War ended, that was his purpose. Yeah. He had the stone thing in his head, and he survives after that. So there was no way he was. Yeah. But I was clearly like the only person thinking about him the entire time. I was like, please somehow. So he's gonna probably have his own show with his girlie. What's her name? Scarlet Witch.
Yeah.
They're probably gonna have their own thing.
Like before he died.
Yeah, something like that, or maybe like a story. I don't know. It'll be like a rom-com type thing. I don't know. Yeah. But yeah, Vision. Yeah, I don't know why. Like I like this character. It's such a random side character. A lot of people make.
It is a random side character.
If you watch Avengers: Age of Ultron, he's essentially. Oh, there's a lot to explain. But basically, he was created supposed to be like sort of a Captain Marvel type of like. He's supposed to. He's
a robot, right? Like a AI.
Yeah, alien / AI type thing. Of like he's supposed to be. Like the destroyer of worlds and like super strong like Captain Marvel, but is actually good. Like he turns out to help the Avengers, and he's the one who ends up solving the Age of Ultron at the end of that movie. Like he plays the role of Captain Marvel, whereas Captain Marvel didn't do that, but Vision did.
Okay.
Like he's the one who they truly couldn't have finished that movie without him. So, yeah, I don't know. I have like a soft spot for the guy. Like he's just he's like that wise character type, but also he's like super strong. He doesn't know it. I don't know. I can't even like explain that fully. But I want to give like, how are we good for time?
Yeah, okay. We're like 35 minutes.
Oh, okay, perfect. I just want to really quickly mention like the cool comedic moments that happen in this movie. They have enough like little pockets to give the actual comedians of this movie like a chance to shine. Like first and foremost, Ant-Man somehow I think
sold
this a little bit. Like his moments, like Paul Rudd, for how like dumb and like no one cares about Ant-Man, like the character is just so not.
Yeah, they really tell him not to throughout the movie.
They really do. He's just someone who's just barely keeping up with the main cast. But his comedic moments with like the taco thing, or like just him just being so giddy and like just a fan of Captain America. Yeah. Oh, it's so cute. Like the entire time I felt like every single time it was like, you kill all the comedic moments somehow, Paul Rudd. Well, the entire story is so serious and like depressing. His moments just mean something for some reason.
Yeah, they were definitely.
So I think he really stole the comedic parts for me, and as well as Hulk.
Like especially when he's like the mix of Hulk and Bruce. Like it's so funny. Like he's just in a coffee shop, like.
But he's totally feeling himself. He's just like, look at this.
And he's just like taking selfies.
Yeah. He doesn't he dab once?
Yeah,
I was like, what is this?
Everyone's like, do you want to take it? I'm Ant-Man, and they're like. And then Hulk's like, oh, he wants a picture with you guys. Go take a picture with him.
There's like that awkward. Just go, guys. Take it. I was like, when is this scene gonna end? It's just so awkward.
Yeah, he did a good job. That was funny.
Oh my god, Mark Ruffalo. Like, it was so charming, and even the moment where like he was watching his like old self, like Hulk just.
Oh yeah. And then he's just like.
He just flips over the cards lazily.
That's so funny.
Oh my god, he's just like looking at his old self embarrassed. I love that. Like again, like
that character development.
Yeah, they're literally able to look back, like literally, and then show like, look, I'm not that guy anymore.
Yeah, that's so funny.
It was the best. Hulk made me laugh so much. A lot of people were saying that they weren't happy that they couldn't see him fight properly. Because they never really gave him a moment at the very end to really go berserk.
That's true. But really, like I think that was like on purpose. Like he was no longer
that person. Yeah. I don't know. I guess if you're a Hulk fan, you look forward to that because again, like Hulk is supposed to be the physically strongest out of all of them. Mm-hmm. So I kind of get it, but at the same time, like his role in this was a little different. I think he played scientist.
Yeah,
funny
a lot
character
more.
A little bit more.
Yeah.
So yeah, whatever. He was funny to me. And I think played his role well. The only other thing I wanted to say is that like, so the Hollywood Reporter, I think you know like that website, that journalist company, whatever. They do a really good job of talking about fan theories and breaking down movies. Like they do blog posts. Mm-hmm. So if you're really interested in like Easter eggs and like that kind of stuff, like thinking about how they paralleled some moments in Infinity War and Endgame, go check their stuff out. It's really interesting. They do a really good job of covering it. The one thing I wanted to mention that they covered is that they mentioned how the deaths that happened in the two movies parallel each other. So, for example, when Thanos, Thanos' whole journey with Gamora and like snapping his finger at the very end is really a father and daughter story between him and Gamora, like you mentioned earlier. Like, he's still willing to make a sacrifice and not put his daughter first, but put his journey first. Yeah. To get what he wants done. But the opposite happens for Iron Man, because he has a daughter at stake, too. The whole reason why he doesn't want to join the Avengers is because he's like, look, I finally got what I wanted. I have a family.
It's so sad.
And, and he snaps his finger to put his daughter first, essentially, right? To make sure that everybody is okay, and, like, he'll take the fall for it. So I thought, like, They did a better job of explaining it than I did, but it was cool to see, like, holy shit, it is. It's like two fathers essentially choosing different ways to save the earth. Right?
Yeah, exactly.
And then they were explaining how the deaths in the first movie, or Infinity War, were like Loki, right? He tried to kill Thanos in the very beginning, but failed to and dies, right? And then same thing with Vision, tries to help everybody, dies. But they were both killed by Thanos. The deaths that happened in Endgame were all self-sacrifice. Mm-hmm. So essentially, Black Widow, she chose to jump off, right? She fought for it. And same with Iron Man. And like the cool parallels of like what death means in like the first one versus this. It's death means failure in the first one. This it means to be a hero. Yeah. It means to like save people.
That's true.
So it was like really cool things that I know the Russo brothers, who are the directors of the two movies, really thought about, and like how even for a superhero movie they kind of thought, okay, if you're gonna compare the two stories, how do these things work out? So that was really really neat to like read into and go like, oh shit, they were actually thinking about stuff. Like even when right before Thanos snaps his fingers in Infinity War, I think he says something to Thor about like you should have gone for the head.
Yeah.
Right, and then he
he goes for the head. Yeah,
and he does. Same thing. The biggest giveaway that I like completely left my mind. Doctor Strange in Infinity War, when he's talking to Iron Man asks him like, "How does this work out?" Because he knows Doctor Strange can see the future.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure Doctor Strange literally says to him, "Look, I'm in this to like protect the time stone. Like I don't really care about anything else.
Yeah.
So if that means killing you, I'll do it."
And then
what did he essentially did it. He made the choice for everybody, right? So and then, which is so cool. Like again, small little moments that they give you enough, but not too much to be like, oh shit, like they all knew like these things were all reflect each other.
And also with Doctor Strange when he was like, I've seen a million different ways of how this is gonna pan out, and only one way we win.
Yeah.
And then after that, like Iron Man in Endgame is like, is this the one way? And he's like, I don't want. Like he's like, I don't think you should know. If I tell you, then it's gonna change.
Yes.
And then he just holds up his finger at the end.
Yeah.
And Iron Man like, okay, I know what I need to do, kind of thing.
Yeah, exactly. It kind of clicked for him. Which is amazing. I guess before we wrap up, I guess let's talk about like our favorite moments, like each, if you could. I know what mine is. What gave me literal chills. Okay. Oh my god. So, which probably is the favorite moment of everybody. So at the very end, when there's a scene where Thanos comes back to the future, and you see his ship coming in, and then the hordes of people from the last movie that they just finished. Just like fuck. That are coming into that horde. There's a shot. It's like so stunning of Captain America versus everybody. Like there's a shot where he's literally standing alone, and then there's this horde of armies that come in. It was like perfectly done, like as like a landscape shot. It was so stunning, and I was like already having chills. Like, oh my god, that's terrifying. And then it's followed up with Doctor Strange's circle.
The circles. I was just
going
to say that.
Him.
Yeah.
And then everybody coming out.
And then all these circles like everywhere.
Okay, I'm still getting chills right now. It was like the coolest thing because like I think it was the perfect moment to end off that series of movies because they didn't have to introduce anybody. Like the biggest thing for me for that moment was like Black Panther comes out and all the people from Doctor Strange come out and all the people who died from the other ones came out.
Yeah.
Like, all those characters' names you end up knowing. Like somehow in that movie you can hear everybody going, oh that's that person, oh that's that person as they're flying through and you're like, that's 22 movies of like introduction to characters you knew fucking nothing about before Avengers that you all of a sudden care about. You know their names and you don't need any explanation for them coming into this last movie. Like that was like the big aha moment of like, whoa, like they did it. Do you know what I'm saying?
That's true.
And it was, I don't know, it was just like that weird, strange, euphoric feeling. Everybody was clapping in the back, like, yay, Black Panther's here! Oh my god, Black Panther! And like, yeah, it was just like, you knew that was gonna happen in the movie. You knew Doctor Strange was somehow, like, he's the one to do it, to bring everybody back. But I don't know, just like that moment of like no talking, but just seeing everything and that music that came up.
Yeah.
Oh my god, so cool. It was just that for me was it.
Because it was like this feeling of like dread, like oh my god, this is it. Like they're gonna die.
Yeah.
And then after that, you see all these people coming, you're like, oh okay, good. Like we're gonna be fine.
Yeah, exactly.
Kind of yeah, that was a really good moment for me too. I also really loved the moment with all the all the women.
Yeah.
When they're all like lined up and they're all like ready for battle.
And again, they didn't have to say anything. Like it was just you like, just saw all of them. And
it's just like you're reminded of all the powerful female characters in the film, so it was nice to see too.
Exactly.
Yeah, I would say that was one of my favorite moments as well.
Yeah, and how they're like right after that again, like that whole final battle scene was like I think worth the mission like fee.
Yeah.
Because right after that too, they started playing like hot potato with a glove, like with the different superheroes, and again gave them moments to show new cool powers. So like Spider-Man with his like the kill spider thing.
Those are cool.
And again, they don't have to do an explanation when like Scarlet Witch had the glove, and started fighting Thanos like by herself, she was like super angry. You didn't have to explain anything because you're like because she took took her loved one away from her. So like moments like that I was like, oh my god, they're like perfectly like they use the glove in the appropriate way that way because you like cared. You're like I don't want this thing to fall or anything. So just seeing that go back to back was a perfect way to like orchestrate them fighting individually with Thanos and kind of giving them their moments. Yeah,
that final that final battle scene was great. That was my favorite part of the entire movie.
Yeah, it was pretty dope.
Yeah.
I was excited.
So I'm a Marvel fan now. So yeah. I don't think I'm gonna watch like any of the other movies, but like
you probably are. The only one I would say, probably because I just watched it last and like maybe remember why I liked like the beginning few movies, was the first Iron Man. Like I really recommend watching that. I think that's what kind of got everyone to start watching and caring. Like again, no one knew who the hell what Iron Man was. Like I didn't even know as a person who like kind of kept up with comics. I don't know who the hell he was. And then I watched that movie, and then I was like, oh, I care like a little bit. So yeah, I think overall, like again, I had my little things that I thought weren't perfect. Like I also didn't fully like Captain America's very end of like where he ends up with Agent Carter, because I don't really care about Agent Carter. Like I that romance I don't really get. I don't think that they have necessarily chemistry. Sorry. But I get that for Captain America fans that's perfect for them. Do you know what I'm saying? But overall, like I think I had to like remind myself this is not even like a trilogy. This is the fourth movie of the Avengers.
That's true.
So usually trilogies work better in terms of arc, but somehow they were able to pack this one in there. Minus this, like the dislikes, like it was still a good movie. It was still something that I was cheering about and like was happy to see. I mean, it was like almost a historic thing to like be there and then almost feel nostalgic about every moment that they went back to the old movies. Was pretty cool. But yeah.
I mean, I only saw one of the other movies, but I still felt it. I still liked it. You were like, oh, what? It was good, yeah.
All the jitters. But yeah, I think what would be pretty cool to hear, guys, if you're watching and want to say your 2 cents about any of our opinions, because I know the things I said about not liking about the movie, a lot of other people were super happy about. For example, Black Widow. A lot of people had no problems with her death.
Yeah.
I was like super butthurt about it for some reason. So we'd love to hear your comments, your thoughts. Again, we're on Instagram, Gmail all the time. Can I say that? A comment section of YouTube, right? We're on a lot of platforms, SoundCloud as well. So we can continue this conversation.
Yeah, we want to hear what you guys thought about the movie, and see if we have the same thoughts. Maybe we missed something.
Yeah, exactly.
You never know.
No, I honestly was trying to remember because it's been a while since I watched
same,
it.
Yeah,
I literally before Iman came had to write stuff down, going, okay, what did I think? What did I think when I initially watched it, and then had to jot all that stuff down. But yeah, let us know if we like messed up and forgot some big moment that happened in the movie. But yeah.
Other than that, we will talk to you guys on the next one.